So, I guess you had another experience to tell us about, huh?
I did. Yeah.
So, what happened?
Well, it started out because I was driving with my friend. Thought I was just gonna go get coffee, have a nice day. It was Sunday afternoon, going for a little drive, and she got pulled over. And for whatever reason, the cop asked me for my ID too, and I was just like, yeah, no problem. Handed him my ID, and he comes back, and I just step out of the car, and I was just like, okay, like I wonder what he wants me to step out of the car for, and starts to throw cuffs on me, and I was just like, oh, this is not happening again. I tried to get away, but
Behind the back?
yeah, well, he just kind of like grabbed this arm with his regular chain cuffs and started to, like, the cuff part was around my wrist, and by that point I had realized what was going on. So
like these?
yes, so he had kind of got it like this but hadn't latched it on yet, so I was trying to break away from it, and he finally got it, so he got it as tight as it could go on my little wrist, so it was almost locked out like this, so I couldn't move at all. And even still, I was just like, no, pulling away. Got cuts and bruises on this wrist from doing that. Finally,
How come you tried to get away?
Because I didn't want to get arrested. I thought I could get out of it. I was like, maybe if I could get out of the handcuffs, I can run away or something. I don't really know what I planned on doing.
So was it behind your back?
So I had this arm, and I looked at him, and he was just like, turn around, and I was just like,
all right,
okay,
stand up, turn around. Okay. So like that, and how tight was it?
They were very, very tight. Let me tell you, they were the tightest that I've ever had them before.
Was that the first time you ever resisted?
Yeah.
Were you sober?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, so you just was not down to go back, huh?
No, I had a lot of caffeine, which is not an excuse, but I had a lot of energy, thought I could run, like I said.
And so now, wait, why was he trying to arrest you?
So I still didn't know yet, and that's why I was kind of confused. And when I went to jail previously, how I told you before, I got a DUI. I didn't make some payments, and so I had a warrant, and so that's why I was getting arrested.
Oh, so it had to do with your last interview.
Yes.
But I thought, because remember the last interview, you had to do a self-surrender.
Yeah. That was so when you get a DUI, you get charges, you have to do classes, and then you have to do a day of jail. So I self-surrendered for my day of jail, but then with the charges, I stopped paying for the charges, and so then you get a warrant for that, so you go back to jail for that.
Oh, okay. So when you put the handcuffs on, did you think of us?
I did. I was like, I need to make a phone call to them, but they wouldn't let me use my phone, so I couldn't get any numbers out of my phone, not even my mom's number, so she could come get me out of jail. So I stayed in jail for a while.
And when you got those bruises that I saw on your wrist after the day you got out, was that from resisting when you first got arrested?
Yes.
Oh, wow. And so how long were you in handcuffs for after he arrested you? When he first put them on, were you sitting there in handcuffs with your friends, or did he take you directly to jail, or what happened right when you first got arrested?
When I first got arrested, he had me sit on the curb for a little bit. So I was just kind of sitting like this, man, not again. Having a little pity party with myself. And he was asking me questions, do you know what your warrant's for? I said no, and he said, do you know what's going to happen? I was just, yes, you go to jail, and then I started asking questions, can I pay my bond? Do I have to get booked in, this and that and the other? And he was like, we'll figure it out when we get there. Which, when he said that, I knew it was a no. So,
Did you ask him to take off the handcuffs or loosen them?
Yeah, of course I did.
No, what did he say?
He just said no.
Mm.
And then he just kept talking. it wasn't very nice since I, tried to run away at first. So that was my own fault.
Yeah.
So I was probably sitting on the floor for maybe like 10 minutes, and then he put me in the car and took me straight to jail.
How long was the car ride?
Probably less than 5 minutes. We were really close to the jail that I was being taken to.
Okay, and then when you got to the jail, what happened there?
So I got to the jail. They uncuffed one of my wrists so that I could get searched initially, just patted over the clothes. So they took like one cuff off and then they cuffed it onto the other wrist, so it was like double cuffed on one wrist.
And so, was it in front, or? I'm a little confused. You'll have to show
I'll
me.
show you.
Right, so they took off one.
And so they just did this. So it was on both.
Oh, okay.
So from here, I can show you what I did. Okay, so both the handcuffs were on one wrist. They ask you to turn around, face the wall, feet kind of wide. Then you just put your hands up like this so they can pat you from your arms to your waist, your legs. They shake out your bra. They, like, I don't know what they think is going to fall out of your shirt. So they do that, and then they ask you a couple of questions like, are you under like medical supervision? Are you depressed? Are you going to hurt yourself in jail? This and that, and you say, no, I'm not. And from there, they're still on like this, and they take you to a little private room so that you can get strip searched. So you go in there, take off your clothes one by one, so they have you take off your shirt, tell you to take off your shorts, and then your bra, and then your underwear, and then they have you turn around so you can, again, go like this, and then they say, are you hiding anything? And you're like, where? And they say, okay, so bend over, and they have you cough so that, a phone can fall out of your behind. But that didn't happen. I didn't stick my phone anywhere it doesn't need to be. So they leave the room.
Was it a guy or?
It's women. So women search women, men search
Was it
men.
humiliating getting strip searched?
Absolutely. It was. I was like, why do I need to get strip
Was
searched?
it
Like,
your first time?
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't understand why they were doing it, but rules are rules, I guess, and once you're in jail, you don't have any say in what happens to you. So, from that point, they said I could go ahead and put my clothes back on since they realized I wasn't hiding anything. I put my clothes on. They handcuffed me again in the front while I was just waiting.
You just take it off like that,
Mhm.
and then they put it on like this.
Yeah.
Do you remember, was it like this, or was it like that, or do you even remember?
Oh, I don't remember which
Yeah.
direction.
How do you remember? Was it tight or?
No, at this point it was looser because they had seen that my wrists were all messed up.
Oh, so they actually loosened them for you?
Mhm.
Like that loose, or
Yeah.
how loose? Alright, there you go.
I didn't try messing with them at all anymore after that. So I kind of waited a while to see what was going to happen. So, again, in the same room that I was strip searched in, and that room is kind of, it's probably like 6 by 6, and there's just like a big hole in the ground. I think that people go to the bathroom and like pee in there. I'm not really sure, because there's not a toilet or anything, and you stay in there for hours and hours sometimes. But
Wait, was this a cell?
it wasn't really a cell. It was like a holding room, I think they call it like a tank or something.
It was the same place you got strip searched.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just like a holding room, I guess. But I stayed there for a while, and then they came out. They did my fingerprints. They took my first mugshot.
Still handcuffed for all of that?
For all of that, yeah. And then they finally said, okay, well, you're not going to be able to go to court tonight. You're going to have it in the morning, so let's get you to your cell. They took the handcuffs off, and let me go into my cell, which was by myself. It had 2 bunk beds in it, but I was by myself. And it was cold. It was cold, cold, cold. And by this time, it was only maybe like 3 p.m. and I didn't have court until the next day at 7 a.m. And 7.
Oh, so it was in
Or
the
8.
afternoon you were there?
Yeah. So
What day of the week was that?
it was Sunday.
Oh, okay. Was it because it was a Sunday you couldn't see the judge?
I'm not sure because I'm not sure. I know that they had court at 5 p.m. I don't know if maybe they just didn't get my paperwork in time, because I know if there's like court at a certain time, they have to like give paperwork to whoever's in charge of the court session, and like put your name on the list for court basically. And I think that my name just hadn't been put on early enough, so they said that I had to wait. So that's what I did. I waited and waited and waited and waited and waited some more. I was just like, maybe I can sleep it off, but the room was freezing cold. And like I said, I was in the cell by myself, so there was some mats. They were probably like 2 or 3 inches thick. They were like this weird like rubber plasticky material, but I was just like, I am gonna use this as a blanket. So I took it off of the top bed and like laid very carefully on the bottom bed and put it over me, and like even still my face was so cold, so I put it like right over my face, like trying to make a sandwich out of myself, and it kept like falling off of the side, like slipping off of the edge, and there was like syrup or something on the like very like top edge, and it was like right by my face, and I could just smell it, and I was like, man, this is getting in my hair. And like it was heavy, and I was like getting hot, and like it was that weird material, so I was like sweating, but if I took it off I was too cold. It was like 65 degrees, and it was bad, and I couldn't sleep. I stayed up all night. I think I stayed up for probably like 70 something hours the whole time I was in jail, because you know it's just so cold you can't sleep. But yeah, I tried walking around to warm up. I tried, you know, like doing sit-ups or like hopping around, and like nothing worked. So I just kept getting back under the mat, not the mattress.
Were you alone in the cell?
Mhm.
What was the cell like? Did it have bars, or did it have a solid door?
The top would, the bottom, what? Like the bottom half was solid, and then the top half was bars. So it was half and half.
Like the entire door bars, or is it like a window, or? I'm trying to picture it. Was it like, because I'm.
So it's like one door, and then the bottom half of the door is just solid, like metal, and then the top half has bars on it so that you can see into the cell.
Oh, okay.
Does that make
Is there
sense?
glass at all on it, or no?
No. The bars are probably like this far apart, so that they can like see in, but that you can't like reach out or anything like that. I mean, you probably could get your hand out, but not far enough to do anything.
Could you see out for like other cells and see in, or no?
I could see out, yeah, but they had put me on a side like completely by myself. I couldn't hear anybody. I couldn't see anybody. The only person that I saw was the guard that came to check every 15 minutes that I was still in my cell, I guess. I don't know.
Was that different than your other experiences?
Yeah, I had never been in a cell by myself for that long. I mean, maybe for like an hour or something, but never like completely by myself the entire time, which was, I felt like I was like in more trouble or something, like I was being isolated, or I don't know. It was really weird that I was by myself.
Did you like it better that way, or no?
I did it first, because like sometimes the other people in there are like coming off of drugs. You know, you get arrested because you're like a drug addict on the streets doing stuff you shouldn't, and so they're like coming off and they're like like making all these crazy noises, or they're like yelling, and then they're snoring, and so sometimes it's nice to be by yourself, but then when you're in there for, you know, 10 plus hours or more than that, I was 12, like 18 hours I was in there almost, you get bored. Like you want to talk to somebody and there's nobody to talk to. So that kind of is the downfall of being by yourself is kind of, you're by yourself. You're just thinking about like, oh man, how did I get myself into this situation? And
What were you wearing? Were you in a jumpsuit at this point?
no, what was I wearing? I had worn some short jean shorts and just a t-shirt because
Okay.
I was going to get coffee. I didn't plan on going to jail. If I had planned on going to jail, I would have worn some tights, some sweatpants, like 4 pairs of socks, a long sleeve shirt, some long johns, a sweater, and then a snow jacket, probably.
Maybe you should have a I'm going to jail kit, kind of like next to the first aid kit,
Yeah.
since you tend to go a lot.
Yeah, that would be smart.
Okay, so you're in the cell, and did they come and check on you at all that night?
Yeah, they come by every 15 minutes and they push a button that's on the wall, and I think it's so that it probably is like electronic. So instead of like writing on a paper saying like I checked on so and so, they can push the button and it goes into the computer saying that like they came and checked on me. So they do that every 15 minutes. So even if you are asleep and are like able to rest in there, I don't know what kind of people can rest in jail, but if you can, they wake you up every 15 minutes with that button.
Oh wow, do you have to actually acknowledge they hit the button, or no?
No, but it's loud and you can hear them walking down the halls because the cops wear their boots and all the extra cuffs and their keys and whatnot, and then they're like pounding on the button, so they don't make it a point to be quiet. They don't care.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So then you were there, and what happened in the morning?
So they came in, woke me up because I was under that big mat, and I was just like, I'm awake, and they were like, court's in 15 minutes, and I was just like, thank God. And that 15 minutes was so long because I had gotten out and was like waiting to get let out, and felt like, I don't know, an hour or something, and the guard finally came back, walked me out of the cell, said to stop on the wall, and then he got more handcuffs out. So at that point he took out leg chains, he got a waist chain, and then a chain to connect the hands to the waist and the waist to the feet, so that I could go to court in that.
Oh, let's put them on. So you put the leg ones on. Okay, and then they did the one around the waist.
Uh-huh.
Was it like this one?
It was similar to this, yeah.
And was it tight?
No, not really. It was tight enough to stay up on my waist, but not.
Like about that?
Yeah. It was like a fashionable handcuff belt.
So kind of like that?
Yes.
Was it your first time with the waist one on?
Yes, it was. I thought it was kind of interesting.
So why did you
but
have to do all this extra stuff?
I am not sure, to be completely honest with you, because I had never even heard of this waist thing.
Oh, did I never put that on you before?
Mm-mm. I mean, it's kind of cool and it's very efficient, but I don't know.
So it's like that. And then. So did they think you were going to run away or something?
I have no idea.
Wonder if they knew you were resisting.
Well, everybody had it, not just me.
Is it because you were there for a warrant?